Welcome everyone. Today our goal is to win a game by using one of the most peaceful cards in the game, and that card is the Monk. We built this really quick kind of bait cycle deck around the Monk, and even though we're probably going to get most of our damage through the Skeleton Barrel and the Suspicious Bush and through our other bait cards, even though that's going to be our damage dealing, the Monk still plays a pretty crucial part to this deck as far as being something that the opponent can't spell. Like for example, if we go with a Monk and we have bats behind the Monk and they're being tanked forward by the Monk, their first instinct is to arrow them or to fireball them. But if we use the Monk ability, it'll reflect that spell back on their tower. Same thing with the Dark Goblin. Like if for example the Monk is on their side of the bridge and okay, this guy we're wasting no time going in. If we go like this, for example, I think one of the bats actually. Here, I'll kind of show you what I mean. But let's go with a Skeleton Barrel here. And as soon as the Skeleton Barrel pops, the Monk isn't crossed the bridge, so we're not going to use the ability. But if he had crossed the bridge and we had used the ability, then the Monk would then be tanking for all the skeletons on the tower. And it would tank for extra long, and if they tried to use a spell on it, like Log It or Bar Barrel It, we may get lucky and have it reflect back on their tower. So it kind of plays an important part to the deck, just like in this case. We'll go with a Monk in front, we'll use an ability, and now, he had to go for I don't know if he has Log or if he has a small spell, but he kind of had to go for an awkward Mighty Miner behind to try and kill it. So, okay, I think we'll just log this and hope that the bats can just clean up the Rhino. So that's kind of the goal with this deck. Even though we may get some damage through Monk reflections, damage dealing is not necessarily the point of the Monk in this deck. And I find it really interesting. The Monk has always been one of my favorite cards, and it's got a pretty unique ability, because every champion, and I would say a lot of the heroes as well, whenever you activate their ability, part of their gimmick is that they do more damage. Like for example, the hero Bowler. When you use his ability, the rock that he throws does more damage. Archer Queen does bonus damage as well. When you use her ability, she goes invisible, does a ton of extra damage. Golden Knight does extra damage when he dashes. But the Monk is, I think, probably the only... I think Monk is the only hero / champion in the game that doesn't do that. Like, he does the opposite. He doesn't do any damage when you use his ability. He just reflects. So I find that kind of cool that... I've always thought that he was a pretty unique card. And we're actually just going to go with a Monk at the bridge here, because if he does try to log, we'll use an ability. I guess I didn't even think about the Evo Skeleton Barrel not. I guess the Evo Skeleton Barrel is a little bit different, because the skeletons from the first wave are on the ground. And this guy must not have even had a small spell. I'm gonna take a look, because if he did have a small spell and he just didn't use it, then that's really rough for him. I guess he just didn't have a spell, so that was probably not a good indicator of how good this deck can be, because if you're playing a bunch of bait cards and your opponent doesn't have a small spell, of course you're gonna dog walk them. You have a pretty good matchup if you're playing spell bait and they don't have a spell. So let's give this deck another go against Panda, and we'll probably just cycle our Skeleton Barrel to start. And we'll just go with a Fire Spirit. It's in the back, so I guess the Goblins are still going to get some jabs because we played it in the front. It looks like we're up against some kind of bait as well, which means I think most likely... Okay, hold on a second. This could be really good. Let's go with this, and then we'll go bats as well. And then we'll reflect right now. We'll log as well, because I think that'll also... Like you can see, it reflected the arrows. It reflected the Sparky shot. The log... kill the Sparky, because normally when you reflect Sparky, I think it almost kills it, but the reflected shot leaves it on just a little sliver of health. So that's kind of what I mean as far as Monk being there to be a little bit more annoying for our opponents to deal with. And now he still has to answer both sides, and I don't even know if he's played a small spell yet. I haven't really been keeping track, but he's got Spear Goblins and Goblin Barrel, and I think he's probably got Evo Goblin Barrel as well. So I would assume that's coming up next. So I wonder, we did just use our Monk but I'm curious. You know what, let's go with this. I wonder if we can get back to another monk for his Evo barrel. That would be really cool. Oh yeah, I completely forgot he had arrows that he used. I don't know if this guy gave up or if he was just afraid to use the arrows. No, he's still okay. He's still playing. I don't think we're going to be able to get back to another. Actually, maybe we can. Okay, that was not the best. I don't know if going with a monk would have saved us there because I don't think we had enough elixir for it. So if we even had been able to barely squeeze a monk down, I think the Sparky probably would have shot it before it got a hit off. But let's go with this. Let's go with this in the base, and then let's use the ability just to tank for the other one at least. I keep forgetting that the Evo skeleton barrel doesn't have the exact same thing as the regular barrel where it'll start tanking after it drops, but he just used his arrows, so maybe skeletons can do good for us. Okay, we'll go with a monk again, just to be annoying. We'll go with this. I don't think Earthquake kills Dark Goblin, so we'll get a little bit more damage, and we'll try to hold on to our log for the Goblin barrel. Like, we could use it on the skeleton army, but I think we can also defend this without it, and just hold on to our log for this. So we should be all good. I think as long as we don't make any major mistakes, this should be a good win. I would really love to reflect a barrel though before the game ends. I don't think that skeleton army is quite going to cut it. Let's be ready. I haven't really kept track of what his cycle is or anything. I feel like we have to use our monk here. Let's use it and then just ability, just because at the very least it'll tank for the E-barbs. And if he had decided to go for a barrel, you know, maybe we could have gotten lucky and reflected it, but I think we kind of needed our monk to defend, and that is going to be another good game. So that guy actually did have a small spell in the arrows. We were able to deflect it, but there's a lot of other deflectable things, which is why I like the monk so much, because there's a lot of cool interactions. You can deflect bowlers, you can deflect... Actually, I didn't even realize the Evo E-barbs throw little spears. I'm guessing you can probably reflect the spears as well, because you can reflect the spears from the spear goblins. So if the Evo E-barbs throw spears, I wonder if we can use the monk ability and have the spear reflect back on them. That would be kind of cool. So there's just a lot of cool interactions that can be had with the monk. So like him and the mini P.E.K.K.A. and the Royal Delivery, those are kind of up there as far as some of my favorite cards. We're actually just gonna... Okay, let's go with skeletons up high to just... No. Okay, you know what? We will not lose our tower. That was not the best defense at all. He's going to have zap, so our bats probably not going to get much value here. There goes that tower. So I think we're going to have to... This is going to be a game that we have to come back from. So we'll Dark Goblin over here, and then probably... Let's go with this in this lane, and then a Dark Goblin in front of this. That's kind of... that's enough of a threat on both sides, and I don't think he'll have enough elixir to counter both. So he's gonna zap the right. I wonder... So he's got Mega Knight and Mini P.E.K.K.A. I wonder if we... He's got freeze as well. Maybe if we go monk and then bats an ability. I wouldn't be mad if he had to... Yeah, okay. If he has to freeze that. I don't think that's the worst. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. Because I think he doesn't have his freeze for offense. So unless he's got a third small spell, then I think those Evo skeletons should take care of it. Let's rush the other side. I feel like even if he's able to afford Mega Knight on the right, we'll at least get drop damage. Yeah, that's not too bad. We'll just hope to damage this. Okay, he's probably back to zap. But maybe if we pull this over, that's not great. No, it's going to jump on the Dark Goblin as well. And the Mega Knight's tanking for the other side. Well, let's try to just keep our troops high, just so that he can't freeze them and the towers at the same time. Let's go bush over here. Okay, maybe if we're lucky. That might do it. Yeah, he's gonna freeze the bats. We have one more go to skeleton barrel over here. I don't know if he's gonna be able to get back to his zap or not. But let's go like this. Let's skeletons. Okay, we are gonna take that tower, but I think Mini Peck is going to 3-crown us. That was a bit of a tough game because both of his small spells we couldn't deflect. So the monk doesn't deflect the freeze, it doesn't deflect the zap. If we go up against log or bar barrel or fireball or rocket even, those are some really good spells to go up against because you can deflect them real well, but I don't think much of our spellable troops got a lot of value in that last game. But let's move on to the next one. This guy is playing Witch. Witch is deflectable as well. And let's see if he uses a small spell on the Dark Goblin here. Okay, you know what? If he doesn't, we might actually go with Bats as well. Let's go with Bats. Let's use an ability really quick. Okay, and he does have arrows. Okay, so that is something that we can deflect. I think we'll just kind of keep pulling this around and try to activate King as well. I think we might have... Okay, thankfully the Mega Knight didn't jump, but that was a little bit misplayed by me. Let's just go with this again. Let's okay, Bowler. That's another thing that we can deflect. I don't know why he thought going with it at the bridge would be a good idea, but this is definitely a much more favorable matchup. Like Witch we can deflect, Cannon we can reflect, Bowler we can reflect as well. So we're just gonna try to make a little push out of this here. Okay. It's not horrible. I wonder if he's playing... I mean, he's playing Mega Knight, so he's probably not playing Graveyard. But a lot of times when I see... what is it, Bowler and Witch, that's what you tend to think. But no, I guess this is just a Hog Mega Knight deck. And let's go with this in front. Let's go with a bush on the other side. And let's see what he decides to do. My guess is that he would Mega Knight the left, but then maybe our... bush will get some damage on the right. Not quite. Okay, let's see if we can maybe... I think he still has his arrows. So we're gonna just go with a monk in the middle and then try to surround this as best we can. And then if we can, we're gonna go with a Dark Goblin behind this. So we're gonna go with that. We're gonna try to reflect the Witch if we can. I don't know if that'll... Okay, you know what? We take out the Witch. We get a little bit of Dark Goblin damage. I am not mad at that at all. This also... I don't know if this is going to be our last game, but it might be because I'm recording on my mom's phone because the options are either my laptop or my mom's phone, and laptop does not have as good camera quality as this. So I'm recording on her phone, and her phone is almost dead. I think it's at like 4% battery. So I don't know if there is enough battery to record another game. Hopefully there is, but I don't know if I want to chance it. So let's try just in case. Let's try to end it on a win. We can't have that Mega Knight going over there. And the bush is actually going to solo the entire tower on the right. He just forgot about that. So that was a much better match. If the opponent has things that we can deflect, Monk tends to do really well. And I think we may have time for just one more game before the phone battery dies. So if not, then there may not even be an... What do I have? No ground units. Okay, well, we didn't have our Monk. I guess Monk is Monk our only ground tank? Maybe... Oh, no, we have Skeleton. Okay, I was wondering. I was like, I didn't think Monk was our only ground card. I guess... I don't know how low the battery's phone percentage is, but I guess if the video cuts off abruptly, then that's just because the phone battery died. So, you know what? That's actually going to push the bush back a little bit. We'll still have time to log that a little bit. We'll still have time to log the skeleton army before he does that. This guy's using double bandit, which shouldn't actually be too bad. Like we didn't have our skeletons or our monk in cycle last time, but even though the bandits aren't necessarily something that you can reflect, monk still tends to do well against them, just as far as being a tanky ground card. So we will just continue to spam him And we got another Mega Knight player. Alright, well, you know what? It always feels good beating them